Hi guys, and welcome to the Book Refuge, and welcome to my review, breakdown, spoilers for Outlander Season 5, Episode 2, Between Two Fires. So, yes, trying to be a little more timely with getting these up. Hopefully this is going up the day that you're able to see it. If you're wondering how I'm able to see the season early, if you're not someone who's in the know, not the season, the episodes, if you have the Stars app, either straight up its own app or you purchase the channel through Amazon or something else, you can always watch the show at midnight Eastern time, Friday or Saturday going into Sunday. So it's technically out on Sundays. And I live in Central Time, so that means I get to see it at 11 p.m. the day before it comes out. But if you live all the way on the West Coast, you can see it as early as 9 p.m. So I highly suggest you do that if you are, interested. So this time I have my notes in front of me. I didn't leave them somewhere. And I have a lot of feelings about this episode. So I'm trying to come up with a pattern of how to do these videos. So like I said, I kind of want to, last time I kind of gave this a rating based on just how I enjoyed the episode, but it is very hard for me to separate because the books are first and foremost my first love, and I have a deep and abiding love for these characters as they are written by Diana Gabaldon. So it is very hard for me to divorce the two, but I do try. So because I have a lot of friends who only watch the shows, so I like to be able to, talk with them about it and not feel angry every time they mess something up, but it is difficult, I'll tell you that. So an overall rating for this one, I would probably give it a 4. And my main reasons for that are, I know this episode is just really getting going right now. I mean, there were a lot of things that were really disturbing for me. So, again, this is spoilers, so I'm going to get into some of them right away. We again had a scene pre-credits. This is the second week in a row. I don't know if they're going to be making that a thing for the whole season. I haven't heard anything about that. But the scene pre-credits was Murtaugh and the regulators were kind of terrorizing a town. Now, if you happen to know any research about the regulators and about this kind of the war of regulation that happened before the Revolutionary War, which that is the war that we're dealing with right now. It was about taxes. It's what's spurred us into the revolution eventually. And there really were these people that were kind of causing a lot of problems. And we can say that it's for reasons. It was for reasons. It does lead to our revolution. But at the time, they hurt a lot of people when there wasn't really a war setting going on. And we see them tar and feathering some men. Now, I was very nervous about this scene. Or I didn't know this scene was going to be in here, but I was very nervous about tar and feathering to begin with because I knew that Outlander would show it. And in a later book, there is an instance of tar and feathering that was pretty graphic and disturbing. And they show it to us. And I started crying and I almost threw up. And so we see Murtaugh leading this charge and he's trying to, I don't know what he thinks is going to happen. It's so frustrating, but I was really angry. And I know that they think they need to do things this way. But I was really disturbed. And honestly, this episode had some really violent stuff in it all the way through. The warning for violence is not the normal, just a little bit of swordplay. We're going to get to everything, but there was quite a few times that I was very uncomfortable. And I don't get that. I used to watch The Walking Dead, okay? It's not like I'm squeamish, but I was very uncomfortable seeing some of our characters do these things. And, made me uncomfortable. So then the main things happening in this episode. So Jamie is away from the ridge. He is going with this Lieutenant Knox to try and hunt down Murtaugh. It's been a while because Jem is bigger, as well as it looks like Marcelise had the next baby already. I don't know if they already have the 2 babies and she's pregnant with their third, because I don't know if you know this, but I believe they have 4 kids in all by the end of everything. So that's why, like, timeline-wise, in the books, I know they already have 3 kids, but I don't know if the one she was pregnant with at the wedding, if we've skipped ahead far enough that that's that baby, or if that is the baby they just had and they're like pregnant again, because they do have some of them quick. So I don't know, but either way. So we're seeing some time ahead, and Roger is hoping that they can go back, but they don't know if Jem can travel through the stones. Claire wants them to go back because she's scared that they'll die here. Claire is starting to get antsy about what she is allowed to do / able to do medicine-wise. She's going to be recruiting Marcelly to help her, so she's going to be doing an autopsy on this man who dies of a ruptured appendix, which is a surgery that Claire could do in her sleep, but because nobody knows what that is, they gave him mercury pills, which killed him, where if Claire had had a way to knock someone out, she could have done this surgery and it been fine. And so she's really very frustrated with her limitations, which we knew she would be. Let's see. Yeah, so those are kind of the main things. And then also, Bree is drawing pictures about Stephen Bonnet. She's still haunted by it, which of course she is. And we get a scene at the end where Bonnet, we see that he knows some people that we know, like a couple men we had seen at Jocasta's river run. He's interacting with them. I can't remember the name. One of them is Forbes. And I don't know the other guy's name, but he's going to be doing some smuggling for them. And we have this scene where he like cuts off this guy's like nose or gets his eyes. And it was just needlessly violent because, I mean, I know we need to know he's bad, but I think we already know that. And, oh, he's just horrible. But they are definitely keeping him a threat. They are keeping him in the story, which is nice. Because in the Fiery Cross, we do get mentions of him every once in a while, but we don't see anything of him. So he's just this guy, this phantom, this devil that we're always trying to get a hold of, but we never find. And Jamie is trying to find him. Currently, it's just Jamie asking John, asking men if they know where he is, but I'm sure other people will get involved in it as well. So that's just kind of a brief thing of like what is going on. And now I'm going to talk about some comparisons in the show and how I'm feeling about it. So 2 ways that I've decided to do this. So while I'm watching the episode, I put stars by the plot points that are true to the book, and I put little arrows next to things that they have like really changed from the books that I don't know why. And then I have a few things that I'm just annoyed about. So let's go over the 3 plot points I found that are true to the book and what I like about it. So the first one is Roger and Claire talking, and Roger wishing that they could go home because it's safer, and that he, isn't worried, he doesn't want to worry about Jem, stubbing his toe or cutting his finger and dying of an infection, and Claire being worried she can't do anything about it. And Claire wants them to go home. She wants them with her, but they also want him to go home. But they don't know if Jemmy can go through the stones yet. This is a big mystery throughout the 5th book, is we don't know if Jem will have the genes to go through, because we don't know if Jem is Roger's or if Jem is Bonnet's. And it's really fun to me actually to be in some different blogs and things where people haven't read the books and they speculate on this stuff, because I think you get so much more out of the book when it comes to this relationship and this back and forth. But that's really true. I really like seeing Claire and Roger kind of get back some of that connection that they had way back in Dragonfly and Amber and Voyager when they were trying to find Jamie. And I really like that. I feel like they see each other on a level that some of the other characters don't. Because honestly, I think Claire sees Roger and she sees all the best parts of Frank. And she sees a very dedicated man, and she sees the man that her daughter loves. And I think that is a great thing. I think it's beautiful. And I love their relationship. Next, Bree drawing pictures. I really like that they've kept this artist part of her. And I also like that because in the books, she has a dream journal where she writes the dreams that she has about Stephen Bonnet. And she writes about her concerns and the problems she's having in her relationship with Roger. And Roger finds that journal and he reads different parts of it, and it helps him to understand Bree without them having a conversation. I feel like they made it pictures because it's a little less invasive for him to stumble across a picture because he's just putting something away and it falls, and of course he's going to see it, than him picking up a journal and choosing to read it. That's a bit different than seeing a disturbing picture of Bonnet. And he gets from it, it's a very dark, angry picture that she's still struggling. And, which of course she is. She's not just going to be over it. And it, makes Roger nervous and angry. And you're starting to see the seeds planted in him that he wants revenge against Bonnet. And I love that. I love it. I love the man who will avenge his woman, even if, the woman can do it herself. Because she's a better shot than him. She is better at a lot of things than he is. But I love that he wants to do it because Roger, I love Roger. And I love that the show is slowly bringing that out of him. And then the third thing that is really true to the books is as well the stuff with Bonnet. Not, again, I didn't like seeing how violent all that was, but we do know that he's in league with some of those people and that he is an important person to them. And the actor, guys, that actor is freaking amazing. Ed Speleers is so good. So any screen time of him, I love, even though the stuff that Bonnet is doing makes my skin crawl and makes me angry. I love seeing that actor because he's so good. So one other thing about acting. I think that Sam Heughan is freaking killing it. The styling they have finally found a good one. Both seasons 3 and 4, his hair, his wig, it just looks so bad. I know they were trying to cover the wig line by giving him bangs, but it was just horrible. And Jamie Fraser in the book always has his hair either braided or up in a pony or something like that. He always has his hair back. And so having those stupid bangs, which are supposed to cover something, just always made him look bad. So the way they have his hair done, they've lightened it to give it the grayer look. He has some gray hairs. The weathering on his face and the coat he was wearing with his guns. He looks amazing. He looks a bit frontiersman, a bit mountain man, but so in charge because those buttons, they're holding him up, and he's just the James Fraser that I adore. So I just want to put that out there. Everybody's costumes are amazing, but he just feels like Jamie, and I love it. So now for some things I'm annoyed with, and I see where they're diverging from things. First thing, Roger is left at the Ridge. I can't quite tell you how angry that this makes me. And I'm hoping that because of this story-wise where they're trying to keep Murtaugh a secret, I don't know if Roger knows about him or what's going on there. But the point of Jamie calling Roger out first and calling him his captain is that Roger thinks Jamie's going to leave him at home because he can't fight and he can't do all the things that the other men can. But Jamie brings Roger with him. And that's why he has, Fergus is his man at the Ridge. And why he brings in the Bugs is so that Arch Bug can be the man at the Ridge. Because in the books, Jamie takes all the men with him. And it's only him with one of his guys and Lieutenant Knox. He didn't bring any of the Ridge men with him. What was the point in recruiting all of those people? That's why he was supposed to recruit settlers so that he was supposed to raise a militia. And all it is that he goes with. And I'm very frustrated because the Fiery Cross builds the relationship between Jamie and Roger to a father and son-in-law relationship, to a friendship. Granted, it's still early, and I'm hoping that when Roger gets more determination to stay, that he goes. But he is initially really offended when he even thinks that Jamie would leave him. And him and Bree have these crazy, not crazy, but they have conversations about it. And then Jamie is well, of course I would bring you. You're my son-in-law. You're my captain. You're my right-hand man. I'm bringing you. And granted, he does it out of respect in the beginning, not out of true companionship or love. But there are so many great things with Roger and Jamie in the Fiery Cross, and I'm really disappointed that right off the bat they already are leaving Roger back, and I really hope they fix it, because I can't tell you how offended I would be. Like, I can't. I would be so hurt, because it's one of my favorite relationships that gets built this season, and they need to fix it. They need to fix it. Also, Claire, and just like the attitude she has about the medicine and everything. So granted, this is one of the main divergences that there has been the whole time, is because reading the books, you're in Claire's head, and Claire is a bit more practical about things than they have her be in the show. In the show, they have her run headlong into things, they have her ignore advice, and she did do that in the first few books. But she's fully aware that the only thing that really protects her from being called a witch these days is because she's married to the Laird, and Jamie would kill anyone who looked at her sideways or punish them greatly. So to have her blatantly go against that, like the minute he's off the ridge, is crazy. And like, why is Bree telling her not to try to discover penicillin? It's not like she's going to publish it in books or do anything crazy. She wants penicillin so she can help people who are sick. And I love that they have her making bread and then molding the bread, because I love that in the books. And she does sneak an autopsy in different ways. Like, she actually does that in Drums of Autumn with someone who dies at River Run. So that's crazy. But also that she's bringing Marcelly on, which I love. I do love. And it makes me wonder if they will do away with the Christy storyline later on, which wouldn't be the worst thing, because it's kind of like, I'm almost to that point in Snow and Ashes. But there's this person named Malva Christie who becomes Claire's like apprentice, and she teaches her how to do things. And there's a lot of tension there because her father is a Presbyterian and he doesn't agree with his daughter learning witchcraft, basically. But I think Marcelly is a good fit for that, and I really like it. But I just don't like how antagonistic they're keeping Claire. They're keeping her a little bit other, which is good. She always remains a little bit other. But I don't like that people were being condescending to her. No. That doesn't happen to the mistress of the Ridge. Like, people always think she's a little odd, but when she's explaining medicine to people and they're just like, no. Like, I hate it. I hate it so much, because they kind of like, even though they're scared of her, people kind of revere her a little bit because she can save people. And some of them who do think she's a witch don't care, because she's trying to save people always. And it isn't until, there's problems that people have problems later on. So anyway, well, I'll be done ranting enough for this. I'm excited by the preview. There's going to be more things about trying to find Bonnet. It looks like Jamie will be back at the Ridge. They really are like moving the timeline along good, which is great. That happens in all the rest of the books. We keep the timeline moving pretty steadily. So that's great. But yeah, there are things I'm starting to get anxious about, and I'm trying to let it go, guys. I'm just trying to let it go, but it's really hard for me because the things that they are letting go are the things that I most don't want them to let go. Especially if you see my Fiery Cross review, you'll know that the things that I most love are relationship-wise, and I think those are the things that are going to suffer, and it makes me nervous about it. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. I have a whole Outlander playlist that has my reviews for all of the books up to the Fiery Cross, as well as seasons 1 through 4 of Outlander, if you want to check those out. I also have a booktube channel, which you know if you're my follower, where I put up reviews of books and other things like that. So make sure that you subscribe and hit that bell if you want to be notified whenever I put up more content. Thanks so much. Have a great day. Bye.